Welcome to the Reclaim Fitness podcast, where we challenge what the fitness industry provides for us as women and birthing bodies and caregivers, and discuss what it looks like for us to reclaim this space so that it serves us. I am here to create a supportive community that empowers by providing knowledge about our bodies and encouraging you to find what is right for your body. My name is Susan Hathaway. I'm your host. I'm a certified personal trainer through the National Academy of Sports Medicine with added certifications in prenatal and postpartum fitness through Girls Gone Strong and Mama Strong. So please join me as you go about your day. Maybe you're going for a walk. Maybe you're folding your laundry, lying next to your child who refuses to sleep, or maybe you found a few minutes to yourself. Either way, I'm here with you and we'll get through this together. Hey everyone, welcome to our last podcast for the month of April, where we're talking about reclaiming your time. To finish this month off, I wanted to bring back the idea of self-care and kind of really delve into what that means for you guys and also what it means for me. I've heard so many different discussions, so many different opinions on self-care. Sometimes it can be kind of a controversial topic. I know I've heard I've heard self-care almost talked about with like exasperation, right? Like, self-care. Like, how am I even supposed to be thinking about taking care of myself when there's so many other little humans and animals and other things that need me to take care of them? It just feels unattainable at times. So I just wanted to kind of briefly just go through, just have a little discussion and see where we get from there. So I'd love to hear your thoughts on self-care. And you can either do that if you have Spotify, if you're listening or watching on Spotify right now. You can go down just below this episode and you should be able to find a discussion question. And I'd love to see what your responses are. And if you're not on Spotify, or if you'd rather answer this somewhere else, I have the question of what self-care means to you on my social media as well. So go ahead and stop by my Instagram at Reclaim Fitness LLC. Or that's preferred. That's usually the one I post most of my stuff on. Or you can go to my Facebook page, facebook.com/ReclaimFitLLC. So, let me know what you think. I'd love to hear everyone's take on it. I would say, to start off the conversation, I've heard self-care described in a couple different ways. One is self-care as basically meeting basic needs, right? Like basic hygiene, showering, brushing your teeth, washing your hair, eating, drinking water, things like that. And then for others, maybe it's one step further, right? Maybe it's things you like to do that make you feel extra special or extra good in your body. Painting your toenails, getting a haircut, taking a bath with your special bath bomb or your bubble bath. All that to say, it can get fuzzy as to what exactly goes into the category of self-care for each individual person, right? It means something different to everyone. But one thing, like I was saying earlier, that I've heard before is almost this idea of self-care being unattainable, right? It just feels like for some people, I think that it can almost feel overwhelming to even consider some of the things we think of as self-care. And I just want to say, in my personal experience, it's really in the times that it feels really difficult for me to consider doing any of those extra self-care things that make me feel particularly good in my body. is when I don't feel like I have the support to fulfill my basic needs. So for me, basic needs are something I need in order to function at all, like on a very basic level, like drinking water, eating enough, right? To not feel like I'm gonna pass out, which happens, right? I mean, I feel like, especially for postpartum bodies in that breastfeeding period, eating well is a like is something eating enough is something that's really difficult because your body, I mean, I've even heard people speak about breastfeeding bodies as operating on a level that elite athletes operate on, right? And so you're needing to replenish this energy output that is ongoing and is really taking a lot of your energy away from you. And so you're having to constantly refill that and constantly get the nutrition you need in order to keep moving, keep going in the day. And I definitely feel that on the day. There are days where I feel very shaky because I haven't eaten enough. And it's like, you don't think, and when you have a child that you're looking after and you're thinking about their needs, you might forget to eat. You know, you would think, I never thought I would forget to eat, but that's something that that happens to me every once in a while. So all that to say, basic needs are those things that I need to function on a very basic level and to like live, right? Even things like brushing my teeth, taking a shower, things that when I go out in public will make me socially acceptable, and make me feel like a human being, right? And if I don't get enough support to complete those things, then the thought of any other more advanced self-care tasks can just seem overwhelming. For example, the thought of working out, which is a more advanced self-care task in my book, seems far out of my reach if I don't have the energy, the motivation, or the support to brush my teeth or drink water or eat enough food to feel like I have the energy to even move my body, right? If I feel like I can't get out of bed or I feel like I'm physically ill, there's no way I'm going to be able to feel like I can fulfill that self-care need of working out. So with that said, consider if you're getting those very basic self-care tasks fulfilled within your life. I just want you to take a moment and think, are you getting those really basic self-care needs met? Do you feel supported enough by your partner or your family in order to get a decent shower in or eat a nutritious meal or drink water? And if not, it's no wonder that you aren't feeling like you can even consider taking the time to do anything more advanced than that. And there's no need to feel guilty for not making those more advanced needs a priority, right? That's usually, I think, where our brains end up going sometimes is guilt and shame. Like we feel like, oh, I'm not working out and I should be, right? The shoulding on yourself again. I'm not eating well and I should be eating better. But if you're not even able to feel like you can meet your basic needs or you're not feeling supported while you're doing all these caregiving responsibilities, it can be really hard to even feel like you have what you need in order to move into that space where you can even achieve those things. So you may just be in a time when you don't have the support you need to even consider taking time to yourself at all. So I'm here to say, maybe take a moment and realize that that's where you need to start, is finding the support you need. Asking yourself, how can I get that support? How can I talk to my partner about this? Or my family members that support me? Or who can I talk to in order to find the support I need? Baby steps, right? we don't need to be feeling guilty about not getting in daily workouts when we're not even able to get a shower or, eat the food that we need to eat. And keep in mind, in our society and in our culture, we as parents and caregivers often find ourselves with very little resources at our disposal in terms of support. We don't really live in family units anymore, and many of us live far away from any family that might be able to help us. And we generally don't live in tight-knit communities that encourage watching each other's kids. And childcare is expensive, and our culture and society has also ingrained gender roles in us that have left us with very little examples of what it looks like to have a supportive partnership and shared responsibilities in the midst of parenthood. So we have to get kind of creative on how to build support systems for ourselves that allow us to take care of ourselves as well. And I also want to take a moment to say that I realize that I come from a place of privilege personally, and that I can generally afford childcare and when I need a break, and that's not available to everyone. And many are at a disadvantage there. So I know that I'm not even really scratching the surface of the challenges that many face in terms of finding support when it comes to childcare, or even social support and financial support. So with this being our last episode of the month, I just wanted to throw out those ideas to you, and I wanted it to be a reminder to you that if you find yourself berating yourself internally for not working out or eating healthy or doing these more advanced self-care items that we are often being told that we need in order to live a better life or be a better person, rather than sending yourself down a spiral of guilt and shame, take a moment to consider if your basic needs are being met first. Then, if they aren't, how can you make those a priority first? And that's a good, realistic step to starting to reclaim that time you deserve for yourself to not only get those basic needs met, but to also find time for those things that make you feel really special and loved and strong and healthy and whatever it may be. You have to fill up that basic needs bucket before you can start getting those more advanced needs met. And once you've created a support system that supports you through those basic needs, it may be easier for you to find the time to do things that aren't 100% necessary for you to live, right? For you to feel like a human being. So maybe after you've taken those baby steps to get to where you're able to take a daily shower, if that's what you want to do, or brush your teeth, wash your hair, do things like that. That's very real, right? There are periods of time in a parent's and a caregiver's life where those things just don't always happen. We forget, or we find ourselves so overwhelmed by our caretaking tasks that they just are not on our radar. And all of a sudden we find ourselves at the end of the day thinking, oh my gosh, I didn't even drink any water, or what did I even eat today? I've just been grabbing stuff out of the pantry, and it's like a bunch of snacky stuff and nothing that's actually given me the amount of energy I need to get through this day, and I'm exhausted. It's a real, it's a real thing that happens to us sometimes, especially when we don't have the support we need. So finding a way to get the support first for those really basic needs can be a great step in the direction of finding support so that you can do things like work out or take that bubble bath if that's really what you love to do, and if that's really what makes you feel special and loved. And you deserve that. You deserve all of that. So I hope you can find some support. I hope that's something that's available to you, and that you feel empowered to ask for. And I'm going to go ahead and leave you on that for this month. Next month, we will be on a different topic. But yeah, I just wanted to leave you with those baby steps to kind of start taking that step forward if that's where you're at. Hopefully you're a little further down the line than that, and you are thinking about taking time to do those more advanced self-care tasks. And if so, you can listen to the previous podcast that I had, the episode right before this one, where I kind of talked a little bit about what working out looks like as a parent. And maybe that'll be helpful for you as well. But keep your eyes and ears out for more content. I have a couple more. I have a lot more ideas for you guys, and we've just got a ton more coming this year, and I'm so excited to keep doing these podcasts. I'm hoping they'll get better and better as I go along. I'm really working on being okay with imperfection. So I thank you so much for all of you that are listening. It means the world to me that you guys are subscribing and listening and sharing this podcast. It is hard for me to put out products that I don't feel like are like absolutely perfect. But if I tried to make everything perfect, I would not have this podcast. So here I am, and thank you guys for accepting me as I am, and accepting these podcast episodes as they are in their beautiful imperfection. So I'm going to leave you this month with a reminder that you are already beautiful, you are already strong, and you and your body deserve love. And I will see you next week. Bye. Thanks for joining me today. If you like the podcast, be sure to subscribe so you know when a new episode is coming out. And if you have a minute, if you could review or share the podcast with a friend or a family member, I'd really appreciate it. And if you'd like more information about movement and fitness within the caretaking and parenting space, be sure to follow me on Instagram at Reclaim Fitness LLC. You can visit my website at www.reclaimfit.com. And if you'd like to get in touch with me directly, you can email me season@reclaimfit.com. Bye.